Gemma. What is the reason you're here today?
I wanted to talk about something that's been bothering me for months and months now. Yeah, it's about my sexual life. It's been it's been hard lately. Like I don't know. I'm having some issues connecting with other people.
Issues. Give me more details about how this issue affects or bothering you.
Okay, so I think it all started when I ended my 3 year long relationship. And so we broke up, and at first it was like not in bad terms or anything, but then it started to get ugly, and so now we don't talk anymore. And at first I was like, okay, this only affects me emotionally, like in the rest of the areas of my life I'm okay. But when I felt like I had healed enough emotionally, and I started like seeing other people. Like this was like almost a year after. I would start to like get close to them and like in casual encounters. But then when we got to the sexual stuff, I just couldn't. Like I felt so overly defensive and uncomfortable.
Okay. So you said that this was casually encountered.
Yeah.
Explain me how is that?
So it's like, for example, there was this person that was introduced at a party, and so we became friends and started like hanging out. Or there's this other person I met on Tinder, like things like that. It's not really. We both know we're not really looking for like a relationship or love or whatever.
Okay. So after that, you said that in the moment that the sexual encounter you couldn't.
Yeah.
Explain me how was the situation.
So you want like a specific example?
Could be.
Okay. So, for example, we were this one time with this person, and so we started like, kissing, touching, and it was all good. But then this person wanted to like undress, and that's when like it hit me. And I was like, I can't do this. Like I don't know why. I guess like everything in my body said like this is not right. This is fundamentally wrong.
Okay, so how you describe this feeling that this is not right?
So, for example, like I get really tense. Like my body gets really tense, and it's like all the good feelings and all the I guess arousal too. It just goes away like that. It just disappears completely, and like now when if that person keeps touching me, I don't feel anything. I just feel like I'm not even disgusted. It's more like I shouldn't be doing this.
You mentioned good feelings. Mm-hmm. Give me more information about it.
So, well, I basically refer to like the arousal, like the rush you get from that sexual encounter.
Okay. So, before you mentioned a long relationship with someone, 3 years, let me know more information about how was the relationship.
So, well, we knew each other for like maybe a year and a half before we entered the relationship, so we were good friends, and it was nice. And this person, they were very, I don't know, we connected a lot. Like, I felt like she really understood me, and yeah, so we went on for 3 years. Part of that was like a long distance relationship because I was studying abroad, and at first it was okay. Like we were doing okay. We both had our issues, but we managed, to solve our problems. But then when I went abroad, I think the things that we could control by being in the same physical space started to magnify a lot. For example, like the jealousy issues. Like she was very insecure and therefore very jealous. And while I was here, I could manage to like calm her and be like, no, like think about it. But being over there, she was like suspicious of everyone and like all the time was like, oh, you're with this person, or like this person is trying to like go after you. And always with this insecurity that would replace her with someone else, even though it wasn't true. And that's what ultimately made us like break up.
Okay, so the situation of jealousy and the insecurities made that you broke up with the other person.
Yeah, because it became too much.
Okay, and you couldn't manage the situation with that.
Yeah, like it was like too emotionally exhausting.
Okay, so give me an example of what kind of thoughts come to your mind in that moment.
For when she was jealous, or
Yeah.
I think one of my automatic thoughts was just like here it is again, like exhaustion of like so many times repeating the same thing, and I was like, and I guess frustration because it was like, how can I show you that I love you and that I'm, like I'm monogamous for you. So it was that kind of frustration, it was that like tiredness. And I guess the overall thought would be like, why can't you see that like I love you and only you?
Okay, so the broke up with the relationship really affects you.
Yeah, it really did, because it was such a long-term thing, and it was very painful to have to let that go for my own well-being.
Okay, so do you think that this relationship was the origin of these difficulties to modern cultures?
I think so. I just don't know how they connect. Because in this sexual part of my long-term relationship, everything was great. Like, I never had a problem with her. But then with other people, I do.
Okay, but in the moment that the last encounter with a person, that casual encounter, what kind of thoughts come to your mind in that moment?
Maybe,
Because before you mentioned that you were tense and maybe uncomfortable. So
yeah.
what else were in your mind?
I think one of the main thoughts that doesn't always show up, but usually does, is that like I'm not good enough. Like I'm gonna be, like a disappointment in bed, even though like I don't know that, the other person doesn't know that, and it's really subjective too. So it's like, I don't know, I just keep thinking like this person is not gonna like me or the way I do things,
Okay, so are you afraid of you disappoint him or her in the bed?
Yeah, that's basically it.
And what does mean disappoint for you?
That maybe this person has very high expectations of, of my sex ability, my abilities for sex, and that like I feel I have such a little repertoire of things to do. So maybe this person's gonna be like, well, this could have been better, and then just goes away.
So maybe I don't know if it is correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that your afraid isn't about the disappointment, but it is about that he or she doesn't call get to you after the encounter.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
It
Yeah, like,
it makes sense for you.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's part of it because maybe if they don't like it in the moment after, they're not gonna say anything. But then if they don't call back, don't show up, don't answer text later, then that's gonna be the sign that tells me, okay, they didn't like it.
Okay, so if it happened, what would you do?
I mean, I don't know. Like I really don't know. I guess I would feel hurt at first, and I think it will really harm my self-efficacy, thinking that I can do something right, and they don't. If they don't call me back, then I'm gonna feel like I really can't do this thing that I thought I could.
Okay, so I'm wondering if this pattern is you were eating in other situations. For example, are you afraid of a frame maybe hurt you or maybe disappear, something like that? Or this just happen in with the possible sexual couples?
I think it's mostly with people I don't know because, for example, I've had sexual encounters with friends, but since they're already my friends, I have that base of knowledge that that no matter what happens in that sexual encounter, they're still gonna like me as a friend. And, like that's a good thing. But then these people, they're like basically strangers, so they don't have anything to hold on to other than what happens in the sexual encounter.
And what emotions come to your mind, or emotion or thoughts, when you are with a friend in a sexual encounter, as you mentioned before?
It's usually, I don't know. I with most of them I feel very confident in myself. I feel like I can like be myself and say the things that are going through my mind without much fear of being judged. So I guess I feel safe and confident with the main two.
So when you are with a stranger, you don't feel confident and safe with him or her?
Right. Like usually if we've gotten to that point, then I feel safe, but not necessarily confident. Like I know if with a person from like Tinder or an acquaintance, it's like if we got into that point where we're ready to have sex, then it's because I trust them enough, but that doesn't mean necessarily that I trust myself in that regard.
Okay, so what does it mean feel safe with someone for you?
Well, it means that I know they're gonna respect what I want and how I want that, and they're gonna respect that I say no. They're gonna respect that. I guess this overall is that I'm not gonna be judged or forced to do anything I don't want to do, and that we can have that open communication. If something is not right or something is right, then you can communicate that. That's great.
So to summarize, when we start this session, you said that you have difficult with sensory controls. After that, you said that you were in a long relationship with someone, and there didn't have these issues with sexual encounters. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, you mentioned that these sexual issues comes when you are with a stranger,
Yes.
but this isn't when you are with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So What is the difference between be with a friend and be with a stranger?
Well, it's like I mentioned before, it's more like I know they're gonna still be my friend after whatever happens in that sexual contact. With the stranger, it's like I like with the strangers. It's not like I just want them to keep being strangers. Like usually, it's not I'm not romantically interested, but I'm like interested in them as a person. And so, if they don't come back, it's like, well, that's a shame. Like it was a really cool person to know, but yeah.
Okay, so you are saying me that the main difference between these two situations is that when you are with your friends, you feel safe with them, but when you are with a stranger, you can engage in the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. What that means engage in the situation?
What it means. Like I can't physically can't have sex with them. Like when we're right before doing it, it's like nope. And I don't know. Sometimes something I forgot to mention is that sometimes it does come back in like as in like a flashback. Some moments I had with my ex-girlfriend, like the one from the 3-year relationship, it does come back at those moments. Like they may say something or do something that reminds me of her, like too much, and like a specific memory would come back, and I would be like lost in that, and then I can't engage in the sexual activity anymore.
Have you ever thought about the situation could be because you feel some feelings with your ex-girlfriend yet? Have you
Yeah.
ever thought?
And it's weird because I definitely still have feelings for her, but they're different now. Like I like I can't say I love her anymore, but at the same time, I love the memory of her. Cause like now when I see her, I know like, this is not the person I love. This is not the person I would like to be with, ever. Because we've both changed so much, but at the same time, it's like the memory of her and the nostalgic parts of that. It's like they keep coming back. Like when I least expected, there may be something little that keeps reminding me of her.
Have you ever tried to change the situation, the flashback?
In what way?
For example, and maybe maybe it could be a good strategy maybe to handle the situation. Speak with her. Speak about this emotion. Maybe you have a emotion hidden in you, and that you didn't mention before.
I mean, yeah, like I thought of that like months and months ago. I actually did confront her. Partly because she was also like behaving very weirdly, or strangely, because some days she would reach out and text with me, and some other days, like, or the very next day, she would be like very distant. Because the thing is that we work together, so I have to see her most of the time. But this is what I mean. Like she would, it was this time period in our lives where she was like, okay, so I'm gonna reach out for you and be super nice, but then the next day I'm gonna be very cold and distant, but then the next day I'm gonna also be very warm and like welcoming and all that crap. And I was like, I don't understand you. So I confronted her, told her like, I need you to be consistent. Like, do you want to be a friend or you don't? Like, I need that. And also I used that like as I guess like as a reflection moment with her, like about things that I had learned since we broke up. But the thing about her is that she is really bad at communicating her feelings. She keeps everything, like her thoughts and emotions, to herself. And so I was very open about how I felt, but I didn't get any response. Like the only thing she only told me like when we were very into the conversation. I was like, well, you said this at the beginning of the conversation, but now you're revealing that's not the real reason why you did all the things that you did. So it's like she keeps hiding and like covering things up. So I really can't have that conversation with her.
So you didn't have a real reply from her.
A what?
You didn't have a real reply for him.
Right.
Yeah. So, but how do you feel about that?
About not getting a reply?
Yeah.
A response? Well, it's very infuriating because it's like you're basically talking to a wall, and you know that this person has thoughts and has feelings, and it's like the thing is that I learned to read most of that and like to make assumptions and even hypotheses, you could say, about what she was thinking or feeling. But the problem is that it's not the same when it's all in your head and you're like thinking, oh, maybe she's feeling this, or maybe she's thinking this, than having that person tell you that, you know what I mean? And I think that's what was the most frustrating in the end, because it's like I don't really know how you feel. I don't really know what are you thinking, because you're never telling me. I always have to assume what you're thinking.
Okay, so this is a good point because you said that you feel that you didn't know in that moment that how was she feeling. Yeah. But have you ever tried to ask for how do you feel with other people when you are insecure or maybe feeling unsafe with a stranger?
Like to ask myself, how am I feeling?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think usually at that moment, like when it happens and like I don't know, get the flashback or like get uncomfortable, it's like I just shut down. And after that, my first thought is like, okay, I need to make this person not uncomfortable and not make them think this is their fault. And so I spend the rest of my like mental energy on that, like to explain it to them, like this is not you, this is not this. So like I don't really have time in that moment to process what I'm thinking or feeling besides that.
Okay, what is the reaction of from your partner?
Well, it has usually been good. Like I don't. Only once I got a negative response from them, like when this person took it personally as if I was rejecting them as a person more than me rejecting the act itself, which was the case. But then most of them are like understanding and just they're like, no, don't worry, like calm down. We can just like cuddle, or I can just be here if you need me, or I can leave if you need me. So they're very like understanding of that.
So, how do you feel in that moment when he or her is understanding you?
Well, it's very relieving because it's like, okay, I don't have to keep trying to convince them about not being guilty of whatever's happened to me. So yeah.
Is it maybe a way to relieve you?
Say, what do you mean?
For example, it's a way to relax yourself.
To worry about them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because I think the worst thing that could happen is them thinking that it's their fault and being upset or feeling rejected. Like I wouldn't want anyone to feel that.
Okay, so I think that we need to work in your emotions and your feelings in this case, in these situations. So maybe maybe next session we could talk more about how feelings go to you in that moment and how do you manage.
Okay.
Okay, so see you next session.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.